Andrea, can you give me an impression of the last 24 hours?
The last 24 hours in Mexico. Well, people are optimists and they are still trying to get the best they can in order to continue with their negotiations in South Africa. And they are talking a lot about transparency and about the implementation of RED in Mexico.
What are the most important points for Mexico in these discussions, in these last negotiating hours?
The most important? I would say RED, and seeing that it will be implemented nationally.
Thank you. And Alex, in the U.S. is playing a starring role here in the talks, lots of attention. Can you tell us your impressions of the last 24 hours and what progress has been made?
Well, it's really difficult to tell precisely what's going on. A lot of the negotiations have been taking place behind closed doors, way late into the evening. We heard the negotiators were here until 1 or 2 a.m. Last night, but as far as I can tell, it seems like there's an optimistic tone. According to the statements that negotiators have been making in our chats with them in the hallways. It seems like there's still a lot of work to be done, and certainly the most contentious key issues are still very much under debate. Andrea mentioned RED. I think transparency is a major issue for the United States in trying to work out some kind of agreement with the basic countries, with Brazil, South Africa, India, and China, which has kind of been ongoing throughout the past year, but I think there's a lot of optimism that they can come up with some kind of deal by Friday.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Can I ask you guys a question? Yesterday we were at the press conference by the Bolivian president. The Bolivian ambassador Solano, and he said that that there's lots of papers, text floating around, but no formal discussions happening on anything. There's only informal discussions, and that the Bolivian negotiators are essentially sitting around doing nothing. Is that the sense you get from your negotiators, that there's no formal discussions happening anywhere, or are they busy talking about stuff all the time? What do you think?
They are busy talking about it, and I don't think it's something easy. Like, they cannot express something that easy because they have to be sure, and well, it's hard that everyone gets in an agreement, but I would say they're working on it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely quite difficult to reach consensus through the UN process with every single country in the room, and so at this point in the negotiations, they'll be spending a lot of time in smaller groups and maybe even bilateral discussions, maybe with representatives of country groups in a room instead of each and every country. So, again, it's hard for us to know precisely what's going on. My impression is that they are doing a lot of informal meeting, bilaterals and multilateral meetings, but hopefully, I think there's a lot of transparency in the process and reaching out to different countries and